a lot. So let's see how we can handle that and increase our self worth. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. So thank you, Meera, so much. And yeah, we'll be talking about the most important we all go through is the validation, isn't it? Nowadays, we see a lot of people, and exactly if we see people telling about, uh, uh, we say validation and they interlink it with happiness, because I'm getting happiness if someone is approving, someone is happy with my performance. Everything is dependent on people, like social media also. So we'll be talking as we proceed with the program. Okay, let's start with the case study. And I would like to also know, just go through the case study and how many of you can relate with that. So let's start. A had posted a glamorous picture on Insta, which they thought would garner a lot of likes. Okay. However, A felt disheartened when they did not get the desired response. Lately, A would feel tremendous joy when their post would meet expected goal and extreme sadness when they would not. Isn't it? So rightly said. A felt tired of experiencing this roller coaster of emotions. In a moment, they would feel anxious, frustrated, sad, but in the next moment, they would feel extreme happiness and joy. So, we'll be talking about happiness and joy. This was happening due to the validation that was being given to A through this social media post on Instagram. Now, it happens with most of us, isn't it? Especially in these days when human contact is decreasing and more on the technical, like mobiles and all those things like Google things are happening, everything. So our dependency for happiness is there, and happiness and joy both are different actually. Happiness is short lived, it is dependent. Suppose I get a mobile phone, some branded new one, I'm happy. Okay. If someone appreciates about something about me, I'm happy. And so it is short lived. But joy. Joy is something attached to the core. Core is when we do not go for validation, but we are content and satisfied with whatever we have within us. So now, how are we dependent on the seeking happiness? What makes us truly happy? Are we dependent on others for our happiness? Or do we need someone's approval to make us happy? This is what we call validation. Seeking validation from others does not make one happy, empowered, or reassured. See, what happens is, now coming to validation. If I put myself in the circle, and outside the circle is my dependency is dependent on my happiness dependent on my one of my friends, so called A. My approval is dependent on so-called called X. Okay. My motivation is dependent on someone else. So like this everywhere we are lost actually. We are totally, and so now what happens is I have seen personally these cases. Suppose one person, if I say called Tony. Tony is seeking validation of happiness or motivation or approval or appreciation from one of his friends. Now, when we get to know about that friend is also seeking validation from someone else. So, when person who is himself or herself is empty, how can they fill your cup? Isn't it? So, we all need to go within and think about how we are attached to a core, and do we need to.
Ma'am, sorry, I think your presentation, you stopped sharing it. Can you share it again, please? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
विवान थोड़ा धीरे प्लीज. देवान थोड़ा
Is
धीरे
it okay,
प्लीज.
Maya?
Yes,
Can't hear
yes,
you.
it is. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, now, uh, how many of you can relate with this seeking validation? How many of you are still looking for, some sort of joy, happiness, or approval, appreciation, motivation from people outside your, in the circle of your friends or relatives?
Guys, you can just put in chat. You don't have to raise your hand. You can put in chat.
Something is going wrong again and again.
Ma'am, I think when you're shifting tabs, it is
Mhm.
getting.
Okay, so any questions related to this, or shall we make interactive? Let's come and find out who all still give a thoughtful, give a thought to your whatever is going, like whether you need validation or not, or still you're seeking, or what has happened with your friends if some cases like similar to this has happened. No one?
I know for the fact that before I used to ask for a lot of validation, at least that was before
Mhm.
Mind Empowered. I used to ask quite a bit. I was a lot into social media, Instagram, Facebook, and
Mm.
every single time I'd be like, oh, how many likes did I get for my photo? Oh, how many likes did I get? So that used to
Yeah.
happen quite some time. But then once I stopped social media completely, I went like cold turkey on it. Now my life is bliss. I don't ask for validation at all.
Yeah, actually, if we are seeking validation or approval of people around us, what happens? The anxiety kicks in.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. There's one in the chat who said that I need little appreciation. So there's someone else also who's answered saying that they would like a little appreciation also. So they're also
Of
seeking for it.
appreciation related to work or appreciation related to your outside beauty.
Uh, Whoever had said work and charity, ma'am.
It's work and charity, both.
Work and charity. Okay.
There's another person who said, I guess we never think these are validation, but instead we consider them as opinion, but end up validating ourselves.
Yes, it happens. It happens many times. Giving answer to the first one that related to charity and work. See, first of all, we need to understand where we are working. They know our worth, isn't it? That's why they have. We can handle them very well, and that's why the reason we are there. Okay. So now what happens is if we are again and going in the process of self doubting, so there we will look for validation. That if I am doubting myself, let other people tell me, no, it's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. So I think so we need to go inside and find out what we are lacking. If we are lacking something with that, so we need to work on that rather than asking people, am I fine with this work? Is it okay? Should I improve? Should I not? All the work or the task has to be done by self, not by the people's opinion as mentioned by someone. Now what happens is the opinion is something different, but validation is more harmful than opinion is something you can take and you can reject also, isn't it? But validation is something you would like to, outsourcing, if we say. Continuous outsourcing of happiness is coming from someone. Okay. So it is something dangerous. Now, if suppose my friend, okay, one of my friend approves or what say, I'm getting confidence from her. She always motivates me and she says, oh, you are really good at it. You are really good at it. You can do that. You can do that. And suddenly I have a great fight with her. She leaves me. Now my validation or that confidence is gone, isn't it? I'm miserable. I'm disappointed because I was outsourcing it from someone known to me. So take care of that. You need to identify, is it necessary to get approval from people, or is it necessary to go for self love and self approval? Isn't it? Self is will be always staying with you. It won't leave you. But people definitely, because it's a temporary process, they may come and they may leave you, and their perception, it will be always different. A might be saying something to you, B might be saying something else to you, C might be saying. So do not believe them, but believe in self. That's most important. Okay. Anything else? Shall we move to another? Why to not seek validation? Again, it's gone.
Ma'am, we
Can you
can
hear
see
me?
it. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. We
Yes,
can
we
see
can
it
see
also.
it. We can see and hear as well.
Okay. Why to not seek validation? Seeking validation from others result in low self-esteem and self-worth. That's what I was talking about. When we are not with our core, we lack with self-esteem, self-worth, and self-confidence. Because we are not realizing what we have, what potential we carry within us, but rather we are dependent. And if I were to say in another words, it's an illusion we create outside our world, which may, we are just thinking about that and believing that to be real, but it's an illusion. Where you are constantly second guessing your decision and constantly feeling the need for reassurance. Has it happened with anyone? So many people are there, they have joined. Can you relate this? Can someone relate with this? It would be better if someone comes with the answers, and also other people will also have clarity. Okay. Now, what happens? We are capable of making decisions, making right choices. We are choiceful, we are mindful, we are aware. Isn't it? At every step, whenever, suppose I'm joining some course, I'm aware of that course, I'm mindful of that course, and I'm choiceful of that course. But what happens is, somewhere a little doubt also, out of 10, if point 0.5 doubt also comes, am I going for the right course? What happens? I'm pushed back. And then I go to people. I go to people asking, is it right for me or isn't? Then what will happen? Different people, different opinion, different outlook, different perception. And then I am again lost. So, and then what happens after that? It doesn't stop here. Then what happens? There's a lot of anxiety. There is always questioning about self worth, then the self esteem, and then there's a loop of all these emotions running inside us. So, constantly seeking validation can result in a person being overwhelmed, anxious, and yes, frustrated because I am not able to come to the decision what I need to. Isn't it? Many times, see, if I say, how does anxiety happen? Anxiety happens every now and then when there is a situation we are into. Once the situation is over, do we still carry that anxiety? No, it's not there. So every decision, everything needs a closure. So there is no anxiety, isn't it? So now coming to another part is the social media. Why we feel so frustrated? We are so much into that social media. I would not be knowing so many names as the young generation knows about it. Instagram, then as mentioned, Facebook. So many things are there. More have happened now. Now, what are they doing? Constantly, they are doing something, writing something, and then after one picture, they will upload some pictures. One picture now they will be looking into again and again. If I would ask you, do you really need that approval? No, we don't. If we cannot approve of ourselves, then nothing can help us. That is why every now and then we talk about self love, self approval, self worth, isn't it? Self confidence, self esteem. It is everything is within that is called self. We need to explore, go down deep into that. As you go down into the ocean and you find such a treasure hidden there, isn't it? So go down deep, find out what is there inside you. Each one of us is unique, and so many of things that we carry within us, which are beneficial. So don't get lost in the validation program of outsourcing things from people around you. Now let's go to the technique how to overcome this. Okay, prepare a table of your activities, resources. I'll explain in detail also. Strength and weaknesses. Continue to monitor your progress every day. Give yourself a 10 when you have used your strength that day and a score of 5 lower when you have succumbed to your weakness. When you score 5 or less for 3 days or more, focus on what that weakness and come up with ways to overcome that weakness. Now let's focus on this. Suppose any activity which you want to be like, for an example, if I say achievements, okay, if you want to achieve something, you would write that particular goal in your activity. Coming to resources and strength, resources is regarding anything. It can be with finance, it can be the place. Some people, like, they do not want to travel outside the country, so they need to take care of that also. And the strength, basically the potential or the capability of that person. If I cannot travel by train, so I would not opt for 30 kilometers of a long distance college, isn't it? So strength and what you're capable of that. If I'm enrolling for certain course and I require certain skills, so go for that. If I can upgrade myself with that skill, I can learn that skill, or I cannot. So these are the strength, and the resources also will be part of this. Coming to weaknesses. Weakness is something, we need to, it is something I would say that you can always overcome. Weaknesses are not weaknesses. It is something we do not have that, but we can always go for that. We can learn that. So make your weaknesses your strength also. You can learn that. How would you overcome them? Now the challenges you need to identify and write the steps 1, 2, 3, and then execute them. So once it is sorted, you are coming back to your goal. That is called homecoming exercise. With the time, as the life journey we proceed into. If we are dependent for everything on people around us, our life, which we say is right now, it's fine, will become difficult. When you go to, suppose if you go to buy, if I would say, you go to buy a particular product in the supermarket, but there are many brands, many levels available. Then you will ask, as we do, the sales girl, what is the difference between the two products or these three products? Each sales girl will be saying good things about that product. So you need to identify which is useful and good for you, that only you buy. You cannot buy all the three products, you have to take a choice. So now, coming to the most important part is making choices. You need to choice is how I would say, like, it starts like, first we need to have an awareness. Awareness, after that we have mindfulness. We become aware, more aware, we become mindful of our choices. Then third is the how we make choices. Now, if we stuck somewhere in between, then we say, as a word is very harsh, we use, it is called miserable. Again, being miserable is again a choice, isn't it? So when you have solutions, why would you go for making your life more difficult? And each one is unique, each one is same also. If we believe that this person is better than me, this is a myth. If you are good in 10 things, that person may be good in 10 things in different way. So we all are equal. We don't need to go for, asking people, this is fine or this is not fine for me. Or should I go for this? Or means if I would say that a small child, I give an example, a small child who has just scored some good marks in exam, and he doesn't know anything, he's just a kindergarten child. He reaches home and excitedly shares that I have been given this, whatever, grades, good grades, and that stickers and all. And the parents say, oh, we are proud of you. Now, what is this we are proud of you? The first step of seeking validation. Instead, parents say, oh, you should be proud of yourself. That makes a difference. So be proud of your things, whatever you possess, wherever you are, but yes, at the same time, be mindful and choiceful. So always you are on the right track. Okay, we believe it's not okay to be not to be okay, but it's okay to not be okay. Do not be pressurized by the people around you constantly saying that it's not right, it's not good. You have to find yourself whether it is okay for me or not. If not, leave it. If it's okay, go ahead. See, here we have like the sun. The sun brings us warmth by spreading its sun rays. It derives its warmth from its core. I have been talking about core. This is what we all possess inside us. Like the sun, we all have unlimited potential ability to shine brightly. We can do this once we focus on our core, by loving ourselves, by accepting who we are. Can we truly strive towards shining brightly? So be sun. Don't get the sun rays from outside, but the sun as it shines from within. Start looking that way. Identify what is your strength, what good things you have, what potential you carry. Life will be sorted, isn't it? Anything? Guys want to know something?